You would wonder if that nonstop barking has any ill effects on your dog? Well, yes. It can lead to sore throat and damage to their vocal cords, and long term, it can result in behavioral issues. Barking comes naturally for all dogs, but it becomes a problem when it gets excessive. While anti barking devices offer some form of a solution, they don't necessarily address these underlying issues. Stay till the end of this video to learn these tested and effective solutions straight out of the Behaviorist Handbook that will guarantee your home the peace and quiet it deserves. A human child will go on talking and rambling about their needs using words. Your pooch will bark. This is essentially how they communicate with us and among themselves, but it becomes unnatural or unhealthy when a dog continues barking for a prolonged period of time, especially when nothing out of the normal is happening in their surroundings. Before you start looking for solutions to this barking problem, it is important to try to understand what could be the cause. For example, if they're bored, anxious, frustrated, or feeling defensive of their homes and families. A dog that has been poorly socialized, especially as a growing pup, will show fearfulness or excessive protection when they come across strangers. This could be passersby, the mailman, even other dogs, or anybody besides you. There are various methods to employ in correcting this behavior. The goal is to nurture them in alternate ways to communicate, or to remove the stimulus causing the barking. Here are various tips you can employ to gain control as a pet owner. Tip 1. Do not yell back at them when they bark. It might come as a surprise when your dog barks directly at you, and then you might wonder, hey, I'm your owner. Why are you barking at me? But as said earlier, this is the only way they know how to communicate. Dogs do this most of the time when they are feeling bored or want some form of attention from you. Maybe they need you to play with them, feed them, or abandon whatever you're doing and simply focus on them. If you don't understand what this means, you might handle it the wrong way. It's common for people to think yelling back at their dogs will make them keep quiet, but dogs interpret this as a matching response to their barks. So every other time they crave your attention, they realize they just need to come at you barking for it. A simple solution is to ignore them and give them rewards for each moment they keep quiet in between barks. This way, they tend to realize barking doesn't give them their desired results, and they learn to associate quietness with receiving rewards. Tip 2. Create a distraction for them. This can be in the form of treats or simply playing a game of fetch with them. If your dog barks at virtually anybody, from your neighbors to passersby, cyclists, vehicles, and literally anything moving, it's because they might not be used to this variation of people and may pick each of them as a threat. You can help them control this reaction by offering distractions in the presence of these triggers. How does this work? You can take your dog to your front yard or somewhere they have access to the public. Each time someone passes by, give them a treat or throw a ball for them. This shifts their attention from the passerby to you. It's important to correct the barking behavior just before it occurs, as it is 10 times more effective than waiting to correct it after it has already occurred. So timing is very important here. Note that this takes time and constant practice, and your dog is not just going to go mute all of a sudden after just one practice. With time, your dog gets desensitized from these triggers, and every passerby falls into the background for them as they become used to seeing them as less threatening. Tip 3. Keep them active. A frustrated dog will do just about anything to gain a play opportunity and run wild. This includes barking non-stop. It is very necessary to give your dog enough exercise, regular walks, or fitness games. A tired dog will tend to conserve its residual energy rather than barking excessively for attention. Make sure your dog is getting sufficient physical and mental exercise every day. Depending on their age and health, your dog may require several long walks as well as a good game of chasing the ball and playing with some interactive toys. If you're activity intolerant or are too occupied during the day to engage your dog, you can hire a dog walker to come by and pick your dog for some routine exertion. You can also try an indoor dog treadmill for months that are rather cold or when the weather is not permissive to playing outdoors with your pooch. Tip 4. Do not reward their bad behavior. Humans go to schools and depend on daily experiences to learn and differentiate between good and bad. Dogs, on the other hand, learn primarily by association. While you think that back rub is having a calming effect on them as they bark incessantly, these four legged canines will see this gesture as a reward for their ferocious uproar and will keep at it just to get more jolly rubs and reassurance that they are doing the right thing. If you consistently give them treats or give them rubs when they bark, they will conclude they are doing an amazing job barking, further aggravating the behavior. Resist the urge to pat them quiet when they get noisy. Instead, you can train them with the quiet command. Remember not to yell this command, just a calm and firm snap will teach them that you're still in charge. Tip 5. Socialization. A dog has spent most of its years in a conservative shelter or in a kennel will find it difficult to interact healthily with people. This is why they will go about barking at anything that goes by. Encouraging more outdoor activities, going on walks, introducing them to other dogs, visiting dog parks, or attending doggy daycare alongside training them to behave calmly when they come across strangers are a few vital ways to give your dog the exposure they need. It's always best to start socializing your dog at a younger age, but it's never too late to open them up for this if they missed that developmental milestone. Although they might be behind the curve as compared to their younger counterparts, they still can learn to enjoy the company of other dogs and people. Tip 6. Managing their surroundings. Sometimes taking away the stimulus might just be the solution. When you find your dog constantly barking at the windows, maybe at the sight of squirrels running about, or just by looking at harmless swaying trees, you can simply pull the blinds down or take them to play in another room. Other times, when dogs suffer separation anxiety, they could go on barking in your absence. While you have little control over how your dog behaves when you're not around, there are certain things to put in place to manage this situation. A common suggestion by dog trainers is to leave familiar sounds turned on, like the radio or a TV station. This gives a homely feel to your dog as when you're around. Although this method will not guarantee absolute silence, dogs have shown to react positively to this technique. The number one thing dogs need is leadership, to see you as a leader over them, and that's why they deem it necessary to alert you if something or someone suspicious is approaching, or when they feel the need to be comforted or attended to. As mentioned before, barking is something your dog cannot do without, but when you feel it's getting out of hand, these highlighted techniques will come to your rescue. Just remember to be patient and consistent with training, and to not send mixed signals.